So keep in mind they're changing my voice, and one of the main reasons that they're sabotaging me is to interfere with my articulation. If you think about Western culture, for a long time they focused on articulation, theater arts, what have you. So part of why there's these traumatic events in the news is for what they call psychological moments. Moments in which the mind is thrown off by another event. So they hit you with coronavirus, shootings, kidnappings, Ukrainian war, this event, that event, and they kind of get your mind all boggled and it's having trouble organizing itself and processing these psychological moments. Okay, so when we look at the word Uvalde, right, the Uvalde shooting, Uvalde, right, lead, with Ubas and Uvalde, okay, lead, and lead, spelled backwards with sounds or phonetics applied, is deal, D-E-L, deal, okay. Now we look at the word power, pow, ear, okay, and pow, air. So say you were trying to, say you were a Western supremacist, and you want the, American punch, American boxing, American taekwondo, American karate, what have you, right? The American version of these things, okay, to dominate. Then you would say, hey, I don't want this African guy to do Igbo Nigerian martial arts, or I don't want this Chinese guy, what have you, right? And of course Bruce Lee was killed, and of course Van Damme and Chuck Norris lived on, okay? Is that a coincidence? No. Then Brandon Lee was killed because they said, hey, mixed isn't good enough. And of course here I am, I'm mixed and of African descent. So why this Uvalde shooting happened has to do with theater arts. It has to do with the craft, right? Whose craft? Which craft? Which one? Which craft, right? Which an evil, manipulative slut, bitch, okay? And which craft? Which one? So notice that being a witch is very popular. Notice being a Democrat, conservative, libertarian. These are all Western theater art sort of cultures and groupings, okay? So why did this happen? Because they're sending a message, and they're sending a big message, and they're sending a direct message, and they're sending a message, and they're using the family's pain for their own purposes, which is what they've pointed out recently. They've highlighted that there's psychological operations going on, and they get a kick out of that because, like it or not, okay, what's going on with me is connected to the families and their shootings. They have been chosen. God allowed the devil to choose these families for a reason. As the devil's trying to make his move, okay, the devil being the governing class and the energies and ideas that they put into practice, right? They talk about in Masonry, right? Entered apprentice, fellowship, right? Being on board, fellowship, right? Pirate is rape and scrambled. Fellowship, boa, road, board, okay? And master mason. And of course, master is faster. And the white man has never set a world record in truth for martial arts strikes because of his build, okay? And neither has the Jew. And key to the governance of the world is the white, Jew, and LGBT community, just like in colonialism and slavery. The reason why they wore wigs has to do with paganism, not Christianity. Show me in your Bible where it says if you're a good Christian, wear a wig. That is mere human rules, customs, and traditions. Which one is from the cult of the empire, the cult of the king, the Western governing class cults? They can trace this well before Nero, the kind of thinking and moon temple worship, right? Lunacy, lunar cycle, okay, witches' Sabbath, okay, they talk about the solstice and all this stuff. This has to do with Western, pagan, cult of the governing class rulers, okay, Western governing class rulers. It traces its roots to the cults that migrated through Crete from Babylon, through Crete and Greece into Rome. After Greece kind of fell off, Rome rose to power. Okay, but before Greece was North Africa, Egypt, and Babylon. So Babylon and Egypt were arguing about whether martial arts or witchcraft, kind of illusion, would dominate. At some point in the old dynasty in Egypt, okay, before Babylon really rose to power, the guys who see it more like Babylon were really expressing themselves. Okay, and this is where you get Set. Set is an Egyptian deity of chaos, organized rape, illusion, okay, witchcraft, storms, okay, jackals, hippos, deers, aardvark, and that's a story for another day. These are not very martial art animals, right? These said animals aren't a leopard, okay? They're not a falcon, okay? They're not lions per se, and that gets confusing about the lion. There's a whole long story about the various types of lions, and let me just keep it, I'm trying to keep it simple for the families on the off chance that they get this video. These are the answers that you need. Why did this happen to your kids? Because people who are in pagan cults, and they started all the churches that you see, every allowed church on the planet is run by pagan cults. It's in the pagan tradition and customs. What is a church? It is a pagan witchcraft center. It is a pagan temple. Stephen the Martyr said famously that the kingdom, that God's spirit does not rest in temples built by man. It was the pagans and the Jews that killed Jesus in the story who insisted on having the churches. Okay, the churches are, for all intents and purposes, and there's no viable counter-argument. They've been avoiding my messages and so on. They've been avoiding me like the plague because they know I'm right. The churches are satanic temples. And you can imagine if they're giving me a hard time, you can imagine in Texas they would give you a hard time if you started saying these things, because there's a bunch of white racist people who run the churches, and there's liberals in Texas and the bigger cities especially who are part of LGBT twists, sodomite twists of the churches. No offense to the LGBT community, this is just the facts. Okay? So this is why your children were killed. They were killed for pagan ritual madness. Now I want you to write this down. If you don't remember anything else, okay, write this down, do your research, read the article on Wikipedia several times, buy a book on it, whatever you have to do. Write down Dionysus. Dionysus. D-I-O-N-Y-S-U-S. Okay? From Dios and Nisus, which is a mountain. Just like Mount Zion, the pagans had Mount Nisus and other mountains. Okay? Mount Olympus, right? Mount Nisus. Dios is another name for Zeus. Dionysus is a young Zeus. Ritual madness, religious ecstasy, theater arts, okay, wine, grapes, and the harvest. Rich people drinking wine. Theater arts with pagan statues in their estates and mansions. This is why your children are killed, and why the rules are the way that they are, that allowed for these people to make a mockery and a game of your pain. This is why. And I am the one that they're trying to conceal the most and play a game with. They're drunk with power. Drunk, wine. Okay, drunk off the blood of the saints. Drunk with power. Drunk with bloodshed. With power, right? Sex, murder, drugs, money, bloodshed. Okay, rape. Rape and grape. G is the Greco-Roman deity. Grape and rape. Okay, this is why they were killed. Okay? I will give you $1,000 to your PayPal immediately if you can prove that your children were not killed for reasons connected to this thing, okay? I am targeted with 22 witnesses on record. I'm the son of 2 doctors, one a brain surgeon's son. Who do you trust? The guy who spent his entire life telling you the truth and giving you the facts, why people are trying to play him out and compare him to Alex Jones and people who talk about lizard people and whoever else, why they're trying to play me out, and I'm trying to give you the facts. I'm shunned by women, financially sabotaged. I don't give a first fuck about money. Money's for cowardly punks. Okay? Who's telling the truth? Those people who are profiting from your pain? Pretend that psychological operations don't exist? They may as well pretend there's no psychological operation units in the military and intelligence agencies, and that police don't historically collaborate with, like COINTELPRO, MK Ultra, MK Search, Project Naomi, Operation Midnight Climax. Whose do you believe? That guy who did the shooting was a victim of psychological operations and technologies of murder. Nothing short of it. Military grade psychology. Military grade. Okay? That's what's going on here. I'm 100% sure. I'd bet my life on it in a heartbeat. I know for sure. I dedicate my life to this. I know for sure. The son of 2 doctors, one a brain surgeon, and I have a martial art challenge since 2013. Why haven't you heard of me? Why haven't you heard of me when I'm the top martial artist? Because it's psychological operations, theater of war, the show must continue, bitch. Ritual madness, bitch. Hundreds of registered secret societies collaborating with government, corporate, state, military, industrial complex motherfucking bitches. Those people who are family members of the people who died, again, I'm sorry for your loss. And just a little, kind of minor introduction. Okay, I've dedicated my life to doing what is right. I gave up a promising IT career. I could have used my brother's network, my father's network, my little brother's in IT to, really be successful. I got blacklisted instead after years of making videos when it was clear that I was locked in on making videos and social activism, moral, my religion is universal pinpointed morally precise activism. Okay, they messed up my vision. So now I cannot effectively go into IT. Okay, during the course of my struggle, I've lost maybe 3 or 4 family members who the government has killed. My grandmother, okay, they basically said, say goodbye to your grandmother while you still can. And then she supposedly, after I've been reporting on psych meds, how they cause older people to slip and hit their heads. I was on record for years before that saying that, and I heard that from a psychiatrist who was somewhat of a whistleblower. He was reporting the ills in the mental health industry, and so I was referring to him. And my grandmother slipped in the shower, as the story goes, and hit her head and died. Then there was a home invasion. I used to say these people should be executed, the governing class, where a cousin, I think it was my dad's cousin, okay, she was shot. She was a home invasion. She was shot in the chest and killed. Okay. My uncle died of leukemia, but it happened in a way that suggested that the government induced it. Okay. So just off the top of my head, there's those 3. Okay. Also since then, and she was kind of old, my grandmother passed away. Okay. Those were pretty much somewhat suspicious. My grandmother, maybe, my other grandmother, my mom's side, maybe not so suspicious. Okay, I assure you that when you obey God, you don't live a life of suffering from these losses. Okay, I'll tell you that for sure. I unless I bring it up myself, I don't even think of it. So, it's important you understand that nobody resents these people more than I do, because since ancient times, Set's arch rival, his bitter enemy, is the Royal African Falcon Martial Art Order in its true form, and Set is a deceiver, so he lied about who these people are, right? This goes back to the racial controversy of ancient Egypt. I'm mixed, okay? I don't want to, go on a tangent or something, but this has something to do with it, okay? Think about Martin Luther King. His tribe is the Igbo tribe, and that's my tribe, and I'm from the royal family of that tribe, okay? And the governing class is from Set's family lines, okay? Set and who's called Apep, a serpent deity, and they like to kill people. They like to rape people, right? So the serpent is also a phallic symbol. There's a serpent in God and Eden. I mean, there's a long story to it. But to make a long story short, no one hates them more than I do, and no one's at odds with them more than I do. And even during the making of this video, they're harassing me in the park that I'm at. Here we go. I was just talking about pirates in the other video, or was it the other clip on this video? And this guy pulls up, and his back of his thing, it says "Jerk Pirates Off-Road Group."